B'Shem Hashem na'aseh v'natzliach. I wanted to take an opportunity to share with you some of the things that I shared this past Shabbat in Bet Knesset for Parashat, AchareMot-Kedoshim. You know, these parashiot have many different rules and laws that are shared within them. A lot of halachas that are shared in these parashiot. One of them, however, is one of the fundamental pillars of Judaism. One of which that is discussed by many chachamim in many different places. It is something that is discussed even by other religions till this very day. It is something that has a story behind it as well. It is brought down in the Talmud that there's a story between Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel, the house of Shammai and house of Hillel. There's a non-Jew that goes to the house of Shammai and has a request. He says to Shammai, I want you to teach me the entire Torah. However, there's a condition. I want to learn the entire Torah while standing on one foot. And Shammai, taking this as a mockery of Judaism, just refuses to do anything with the guy and asks him to just leave. Get out. I'm not dealing with you. You can't make a mockery of Judaism. What do you think this is? You can't just learn the entire Torah on one foot. So the Talmud continues and says this person goes for his conversion request to Beit Hillel, the house of Hillel. To which Hillel says, no problem. You want to learn the entire Torah, all of Judaism standing on one foot? Easy. That which you hate for others to do to you, do not do to others. Which is the commandment that we have in our parashiot this week on Shabbat, which is ve'ahavta lere'acha kamocha. Love your fellow Jew like you love yourself. Love your fellow like yourself. Obviously, it goes to explain that Hillel did not mean that here you go, I've just converted you into Judaism, that's all you need to learn. No, it continues that the story goes that this person has a liking to Judaism and he continues his learning, and it takes years before he actually converts and becomes a real Jew. However, Hillel wanted to capsulate the Torah for him and said, you want me to tell you what the entire Torah is about? What all of Judaism is about? It's about this one line. Ve'ahavta lere'acha kamocha. If you know that, you can learn everything else. And he did. And with that, he started his conversion. Now, many people talk about this pasuk. There's many mefarashim. There are many commentators that talk about what does this pasuk really refer to? What does it reya? What is your fellow? What is it? Because in the Torah, if you really learn, what is Hillel really trying to tell this person? The entire Torah is love your fellow like yourself. There are some laws that are not, have nothing to do with your fellow. Like for instance, thou shalt not have other gods other than me. That's a mitzvah that is between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It doesn't concern your fellow. Therefore, Chachamim do discuss, commentaries do talk about what does reya really mean? What does it refer to in different places in the Torah? And in different places in Torah and in Tanakh, reya, fellow, your friend, your beloved, is referred to as different things. One place, your fellow actually refers to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So just like you're supposed to love your fellow like yourself, you're supposed to love HaKadosh Baruch Hu for all the things that He's done for you, just like yourself as well. He is also referred to as your fellow. So I'm going to ask you just like I asked everyone in the congregation. The moment I started to say, ve'ahavta lere'acha kamocha, which is a sentence that is known to literally almost all people of all kinds. Ve'ahavta lere'acha kamocha. Love your fellow like yourself. How many of you listening in right now, how many of you really thought for a second and said, oh, that pasuk refers to my wife. That pasuk refers to my husband. It refers to my kids, my children, my cousins. The circle around me. I'm sure I'm not wrong if I say not many of you, which was the case every single time I've asked this question. Not many of us think in those terms. The moment we are told, the Torah asks us, Hashem asks us in the Torah, ve'ahavta lere'acha kamocha, love your fellow like yourself, we almost immediately think about gomnei chasadim, doing chesed projects, charitable giving to organizations, which is amazing, which is great, which is what we're all about. What is the Jewish nation all about if not for tzedakah, for giving righteousness, giving tzedakah? But the moment that pasuk comes up, we don't immediately think about our closest circle of family. We tend to think about, I should get more involved in my Bet Knesset. I should get more involved in my charity organizations around me, which are great. But there is also another circle that's much closer. How many of us really felt ve'ahavta l'ra'acha kamocha in the Torah also refers to my children? It also refers to my wife or to my husband. Or in some cases, that was, myself. I want to share a story with you, which didn't happen too long ago. It's a true story I heard over from Rav Baruch Rosenblum. Said that there was a shidduch made between a girl and a boy. A wonderful match. Two wonderful families, boy and girl really loved each other, and they decide to get engaged. In the boy's family, his grandmother, the Chatan, this is a religious family, Orthodox family in Israel. The boy was going to learn in Kollel afterwards, and the girl was going to work a little bit, and then until they start, working a little bit towards, which is what happens really in Orthodox families in the first 2 years. The boy is still studying. But the boy had a grandmother that was very wealthy. He came from a wealthy family, and his grandparents were very, very wealthy. And the grandmother of the Chatan had a minhag, had a custom. And that minhag was that every grandchild, son, daughter, doesn't matter, that would get married or was engaged to be married, she would guarantee them a gift. And that gift was a huge diamond ring that the kala would wear. Now, it didn't matter if it's her own granddaughter that was getting married, or it was a kala that was marrying her grandson. And so, as the minhag of the family was, she had many grandchildren, Baruch Hashem. She comes up to this Chatan and Kala and says, well, my promise stays. After your chuppah, Be'ezrat Hashem, once you're finally married, I will be the one to buy you that special diamond ring and gift it to you. So, after the engagement party, someone comes from the very high-class jeweler, comes to the home of the Kala, sizes her finger to get the exact size so that they can make this special ring for her. The wedding goes on, it was beautiful, everyone was invited, everyone was enjoying themselves. Chuppah is finished. And after the chuppah is done, in the what we call the yichud room, where the Chatan and Kala go after the chuppah to relax, to eat something before they come out and meet their guests, there's a knock on the door, and someone brings a box, a jewelry box, nicely wrapped, hands it to the Kala and says, this is from your, grandmother, from the grandmother of the Chatan. Congratulations, Mazal Tov, you deserve it. She opens it up and it's a magnificent diamond ring. It's beautiful in all ways, shape, and form. It's tens of thousands of dollars worth. She takes it, she puts it on her finger. It's tiny little loose, so she didn't want to risk anything. She takes off her, wedding band, puts the diamond ring in, puts the wedding band on top of it to make sure it's not lost. When they go into the wedding, everyone's waiting to see the Kala's new ring because everybody knew that mother and grandmother gets these special rings for their grandchildren. And everyone's going crazy over this ring. During the dance, everyone's dancing with the Kala. Half the people are looking at the ring and they're commenting on it. It's so beautiful, Mazal Tov, you deserve it. And everyone's happy and dandy. Comes the days of the Sheva Brachot. One Sheva Brachot, two, second, third. Comes to the last day of Sheva Brachot. And Chatan and Kala are usually already by the first Sheva Brachot, they're exhausted. Imagine the seventh day after the wedding. Last day of the Sheva Brachot, the Kala goes to do Netilat Yadayim. She goes to wash her hands for Netilat Yadayim, and she, as the custom is, we take off all our rings before we do Netilat Yadayim. She puts it on the sink, washes, sits down. Then she realizes, oops, I didn't put my rings back on. My ring, I took it off. She goes to the sink, and where's the ring? So in the beginning, she thinks maybe someone took it. Everybody knows what this ring is. It's not like it's a secret. She starts asking around and the ring is gone. So there's all of a sudden, in a matter of seconds, there's mayhem. Where is the ring? Grandma's ring is missing. Sheva Brachot turns from a happy feast into a mayhem of people screaming, running around like chickens with no heads looking for this ring. Hours in and the ring is gone. It was either thrown out with a trap. No one could find it. And to top it all off, the aunt of the Khatan becomes very angry with the Kala and she just gives it to her in front of everybody. How could you? How dare you? How irresponsible are you? What are you, a 5-year-old? How do you lose such an expensive ring? You haven't had it for a week yet. You're crazy. We can't believe it. And she's sitting there just taking it. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. And the Khatan is poor guy, his new wife. He's like, everyone relax, okay? She's sorry, we lost the ring, okay? Nothing helps. Sheva Brachot ends, everybody goes home. Khatan and Kala are just depressed, especially the Kala for losing this precious ring of the grandma. No one knows what to do. What are you going to do? It's gone. It looked. Weeks after, you keep looking, you can't find it. 5 months to 6 months pass. It's Rosh Hashanah. You know, Ashkenazim, and even some Sephardim, have the minhag that on their wedding day, they wear a kapata. A kapata is a long coat, a Jewish garb. And they don't wear it anymore until there's like a big holiday. And they wear that again. So comes right before Rosh Hashanah. Erev Rosh Hashanah. The Khatan goes in the closet to take out his kapata to wear it in the honor of Rosh Hashanah. And his wife is in the kitchen. She starts hearing screams coming from the bedroom. Her husband is screaming, the ring, I found the ring, I found the ring, I found the ring. And she runs, she goes, what is wrong with you? What's going on? He goes, I found the ring. He goes, how did you find the ring? He says, it was in my kapata's pocket. I guess we were so tired. I found the ring on the sink that day on our Sheva Brachot, and I put it in my kapata's pocket, and I forgot that I had been the one who had taken it and put it in my pocket. Now we found it. Isn't this great? It wasn't so great. The wife was besides herself. Are you kidding me? Your entire family disowned me. No one would talk to me. Even till today, people look at me like I'm crazy. Everyone's like, you lost the ring. And all this time, it was you. You had it in your pocket. How could you do this to me? He's like, honey, sweetheart, I'm so sorry. We're both tired. I'll make it up to you. I'll talk to your family. I will talk to my family. I'll talk to my aunt, make her apologize, which she probably wouldn't. So, Rosh Hashanah, everyone's enjoying their time with the family. And guess who's got a smile on her face? The Kala. After 5 months, she can finally pick her head back up. You know? The family that berated her for losing the ring now is like, okay, we're sorry. I guess it was our own guy. He lost the ring. How could you do this to her? You know? So she's very happy to finally be back in the family some way at least. And he's now taking all the heat. Yes, it was me. I'm sorry. But Baruch Hashem, look. At least the ring is found. Aren't we all happy? Isn't this great? It's all over. Baruch Hashem, all's well that ends well. Fine. Everyone's happy. 5 years pass. And now they have their own kids, 3-4 kids already in the family, Baruch Hashem. And she wanted to, I think, not really sure she wanted to get it resized again, or she wanted to trade it in for another ring, which some people do. I guess she felt like this ring had a history and maybe she wanted to trade it for something else. So she takes the ring one day to the same jeweler. It was a famous jeweler. Everyone knew that the grandma goes to this person. She goes to this jeweler and says, I'd like to get this, exchanged or resized. So the jeweler takes it and puts the thingy on his eye and he's looking at the ring. He's like, wow, beautiful ring. This is like exquisite. It's a beautiful piece of diamond. Wow, you're a lucky lady. She says, I know, thank you so much. Believe me, I know. He says, however, this ring is not from me. I don't carry this kind of diamond. It's not my signature. I know who it's from, but it's not from me. It's a little bit more high end. She says, no, this ring is from you. I know grandma so-and-so buys these rings from you. He says, I understand grandma so-and-so buys these rings from me. This one happens not to be from me. It's from someone else. Now she's very, very confused. She says, who is it from? He says, it's a jeweler down the street. I know him. We're friends. It's from that guy. She's very confused as to what's going on. Not knowing what's happening, she goes home because the jeweler says, listen, you can find the box. You'll see the box is not from me. If you have the receipt that it's from me, okay, we'll talk. She goes home and starts looking in her husband's things. She finds a jewelry box, opens the jewelry box, finds the receipt and goes, aha! Opens the receipt and she finds the date. To her shock, to her bewilderment, the date is 5 months after her wedding, right before Rosh Hashanah. What had actually happened was, her husband, seeing how down his wife was, had gone to a friend of his who was in the jewelry business, another jeweler, ended up putting this ring on payment, and it took him 6 years to pay it off with borrowed money, to buy that ring and bring it to his wife right before Rosh Hashanah so that she can pick up her head in front of his family. Just so that his wife would not be the one to have to take the blame from his family. Now, if I ask you again, Ve'ahavta le're'acha kamocha, who does it refer to more? I think everyone will agree. This Chatan, he was zocheh to do this mitzvah with all of his heart. He took all the heat from his family, just so that his wife wouldn't have to keep feeling the way she was. That's ve'ahavta le're'acha kamocha. Who's yoreya? Yes, other people do deserve to be loved just like yourself. Yes, you have that mitzvah towards other people, but don't forget, it starts from within and then you go to without. It starts from yourself, your wife, your family. It is great. We are known as Baishanim, Gomle Hasadim. We are the nation that is constantly giving tzedakah. But the greatest tzedakah is to one's own family. Because we owe that tzedakah to them. We owe that help. We owe that saving of face to our wife, to our husband, to our kids. We owe it to them. It is our responsibility. That is more our mitzvah than anything else. But unfortunately, we tend to look over it. We tend to forget about it. We tend to not pay attention to it as much as we should. Rabbi Friend brought a story. It's a surprising story, but it happens unfortunately too often. There was a woman in his community that used to prepare meal trains for families that needed food for whatever reason. It could be the mother had just given birth and she's still in the hospital and she has kids at home and they need meals prepared for them during the week. She would prepare those and she would arrange for other families to cook for them, or families that just lost their job, whatever it could be. And she was constantly on the phone trying to arrange these meals. And one Thursday afternoon, while she's on the phone, her little daughter was pulling on her skirt going, Ima, 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 Ima. And she's on the phone trying to prepare these meals like, Chana, can you cook this meal for so-and-so family? She's constantly being pulled, Ima, Ima, Ima. So she turns down to her daughter and goes, what? Don't you see I'm trying to feed hungry people? To which her daughter replies, but Ima, I'm hungry. Sometimes we don't recognize that the people that need us most are the ones around us, which is most of the time. So when we go and tell other people and preach to other people that yes, ve'ahavta le're'acha kamocha, you have to love your fellow like yourself, you have to do chesed, we have to remember, where does that chesed belong first? Who deserves that kindness first? When was the last time we sat down with our son or daughter just to talk? When was the last time you sat down with your wife or your husband just to talk? Just to see how things are going. That sometimes is the greatest chesed. But unfortunately, sometimes we find the time to talk to other people, to solve other people's problems, to give charity to other people. But we tend to not recognize that charity, that talk, that shoulder, that help, that hug, that smile could sometimes be a life-saving anecdote in our own circle more than anything else. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.